Can I be honest? There was a time when I thought having a beautiful classroom meant that I was becoming a better teacher. I'd spend hours decorating bulletin boards, creating a perfect theme, making sure all the colors matched, and making sure that everything was in tip-top shape, in the right space, all of the things. And while there's nothing wrong with having a beautiful classroom, over time I realized that I was doing it for the wrong reasons. I was doing it so that people can be like, oh, your classroom is so pretty, like other adults. And that's clearly not the reason why I wanted to have a beautiful, welcoming classroom in the start of things and nowadays. So that realization changed everything. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. In case you're new here, my name is Dr. Naisha Cherry. I help teachers teach well, lead with purpose, and protect their peace. Let's get into it. Let's talk about the beautiful classroom aesthetic and how we are going a little too far with that sometimes. So I love Pinterest. I'm addicted to Pinterest. I have to admit I'm addicted to Pinterest. However, Pinterest will get in your head that your classroom has to be perfect with all of the perfect details, and that it needs to be Instagram ready, TikTok ready, like all of the things. It's created so much pressure that it has become a stressor a lot of times when it comes to coming up with a classroom theme, if you have one, and creating a classroom that you feel will be warming and welcoming and cute and all of, like, yeah, all of that. And there's nothing wrong with that because, like I said, I am creating a new theme this year for my classroom. And I do want a beautiful classroom. I thrive in aesthetically pleasing spaces. But I had to remind myself that my students are not going to learn better or learn more because the bulletin board is aligned with the classroom theme. I had to learn that students care about different things. They don't necessarily care about how the classroom looks. That's more of a teacher thing. Even though I've had students compliment my classrooms in the past, and that's a real thing, you know, they're just like adults. Some people like aesthetically pleasing things and some people could care less about it. So we have to reach all of our students. But I do know that my students care more about how I make them feel. They care more about, is it welcoming when I come in here? They care more about, are they being challenged with the lesson, how they're doing on the classwork versus how it looks around the classroom. As a matter of fact, I've had before where I would remind the kids to look at the bulletin board or the anchor charts that were posted on certain content, and they wouldn't know where to look because they don't care about no decoration. That was me. So I have learned now that that's less important. It's more about the function of the learning, which leads me to the next thing, function over perfection. If it's not a functional decorative item in the classroom, then it's probably not needed. So if I just have pretty things up on the wall, pretty sayings, it doesn't matter if we're not going to address it. It doesn't matter if the kids don't know it's there. It doesn't matter if it's not going to help them in understanding the content, in understanding how to treat their peers, in understanding how we move in group work. So if it's not functional, if it's just pretty and perfect on the wall, then I don't need it. And my kids certainly don't need it. So I've gotten past that and made sure that the things that I am putting up is functional. Now, if it's something that I just think should be really, that's really pretty, that should be posted, for me, then it's going to be at my desk where the kids are not coming. It'd be for me to see at my desk, which I'm barely there anyway, but at my desk. Anything that's out in the open for the children is going to be beneficial for them in a functional way. Another thing is that you can build your classroom over time. So day one, your classroom does not have to be perfectly in order, set, ready to go. There could be things you add later on, different anchor charts for certain, because as you're teaching new content, you do want your anchor charts to rotate out to address what we're talking about. And so things like that can change over time, can be added over time, instead of having everything up on the wall. And another thing about that too is that the kids will forget it's even there. So definitely changing out the different wall decor to match the theme of what you're learning in class is more beneficial than just having posters and things up around the room all year long. And students should help create the classroom decor, their work samples, their artwork, their writing. All that should be put up so that they can help create the environment and feel welcomed and pay attention more to what's up on the walls, because if they know that their work is going to be on the wall, they're going to be looking. They're going to want to see it. And that'll help them to want to produce more quality work too, so that it can go up on the walls. Because in my classroom, I don't post anything. I post work that's worthy to be posted. So they want to get their work on the wall. They want it to show for everybody to see. Parents come or their peers come like, oh, I saw your work on the wall. They're excited about that. So letting them help to create the aesthetic of the classroom is amazing and it serves a dual purpose. And definitely stop decorating with other adults in mind, trying to impress them. You want to decorate to think about your students, with your students in mind. Things that will benefit them, that's going to make them want to be there in your classroom, and to know that it's a space for them, because it should be a space for them. And creating this perfect space, this perfect classroom, is very time consuming. So you want to invest your time wisely. Do you want to spend a bunch of hours doing bulletin boards? I know I don't. Personally, I hate doing bulletin boards. Sorry, I do. I am not a fan of making bulletin boards. And so if I don't have to make a bulletin board, I'm grateful. I can put up their quality work coming soon. Of course, something a little more inviting. And then put their beautiful work up on the wall once I receive it, because I'm not a huge fan of bulletin boards. Now, we'll have some, especially at schools that require you to decorate bulletin boards, but I can do without them. So I rather invest my time in something more meaningful. And last but not least, a beautiful classroom is about how it feels. Does it feel warm? Does it feel safe? Does it feel welcoming? Do your students feel seen when they come into your classroom? Do they feel encouraged? Do they feel capable? Those are the things you want your students to feel when they come into your classroom. And having a perfect classroom is not always going to accomplish that. So these are things to keep in mind when you are creating your classroom aesthetic in the beginning of the year. I've learned that my goal is not to create a perfect classroom, but to create a classroom where my students can grow and feel comfortable the entire year long. If my students leave the classroom knowing that they mattered, then my classroom was a beautiful place and it served its purpose. If you could choose only one, would you spend more time creating a perfect classroom or building relationships with your students? Why? Comment below. Let us know. Thank you for tuning in. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.